Lucy was known in her neighborhood for her love of baking. Her weekends were often spent in her cozy kitchen, surrounded by flour-dusted countertops and the sweet aroma of vanilla and chocolate. Baking was her passion, but recently, it had become a source of stress rather than joy. This Saturday, Lucy was determined to bake a batch of cupcakes for her best friend's birthday party. She had spent hours searching for the perfect recipe and meticulously measuring every ingredient. Yet, as she pulled the cupcakes from the oven, her heart sank. They were slightly burnt on the edges, and the frosting she had painstakingly prepared was too runny. Frustrated and on the verge of tears, Lucy sat down at her kitchen table. She had always been a perfectionist, but it seemed like the harder she tried, the more things went wrong. Her mind raced with self-doubt and disappointment. What if the cupcakes weren't good enough? What if she let her friend down? Just then, the doorbell rang. It was Mr. Tanaka, Lucy's elderly neighbor, and a retired Zen teacher who often stopped by to chat and share his wisdom. He had a knack for showing up at just the right time. "Good afternoon, Lucy," he said with a gentle smile. "I smelled something delicious and thought I'd come by for a taste." Lucy sighed, gesturing to the slightly burnt cupcakes. "I'm afraid they didn't turn out as I hoped. I wanted them to be perfect, but now they're ruined." Mr. Tanaka chuckled softly and took a seat at the table. "Ah, the pursuit of perfection, it can be quite the trickster, can't it? Let me tell you a story." Lucy listened as Mr. Tanaka recounted a Zen parable about a potter who spent his life trying to create the perfect vase. Each time he thought he had achieved perfection, he found a flaw. One day, he accidentally dropped a vase and it shattered into pieces. To his surprise, the broken vase, when reassembled with gold lacquer, became more beautiful and unique than anything he had ever made. The potter learned that beauty lies in imperfection, Mr. Tanaka concluded. In Zen, we call this concept wabi-sabi, finding beauty in the flawed and imperfect. Lucy pondered this as she looked at her cupcakes. She realized that in her quest for perfection, she had forgotten the joy of baking and the love she wanted to share with her friend. Encouraged by Mr. Tanaka's words, Lucy decided to make the best of the situation. She carefully sliced off the burnt edges of the cupcakes and added extra sprinkles to the runny frosting. They may not have been perfect, but they were made with love. At the party, Lucy nervously placed her cupcakes on the dessert table. To her surprise, her friends devoured them, praising their unique flavor and charming appearance. Her best friend hugged her tightly, expressing how much she loved the thoughtful gesture. As Lucy watched her friends enjoy the cupcakes, she felt a sense of peace and happiness wash over her. She realized that the joy of baking wasn't about perfection, but about creating something from the heart and sharing it with others. Mr. Tanaka, who had joined the party, caught her eye and gave her a knowing nod. Lucy smiled, grateful for his wisdom and the lesson she had learned. From that day on, Lucy approached her baking with a new perspective. She embraced the imperfections, knowing that they were part of the process, and added character to her creations. Her kitchen became a place of joy and experimentation, where she could express herself freely without the burden of perfection. In the end, Lucy discovered that life, much like baking, was about savoring the moments, embracing imperfections, and finding beauty in the simple things. With each imperfect cupcake, she shared a piece of her heart, bringing smiles to the faces of those she loved. This story highlights the Zen teaching of wabi-sabi, finding beauty in imperfection, and illustrates how letting go of the pursuit of perfection can lead to joy and fulfillment. I hope it brings a smile to your face. If you have any more requests or ideas, feel free to share.